Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the paradise on earth, is the destination sought by tourists looking for parts less trodden, where nature luxuriates in all its glory. Pristine islands, numbering 572, of which only 39 are inhabited, with uncluttered beaches, washed by the blue waters of the Bay of Bengal, illustrate all that is best and beautiful in nature. The corals around the island are colorful and untouched. The islands are naturally verdant, and the seas around are still rich in marine life, undisturbed by the bottom-trawling depredations of fishing fleets. In short, the panoramic scene remains as nature willed it to be. All the uninhabited islands have rich tropical rainforests that house priceless genetic resources. Even inhabited islands have made conscious efforts to preserve the rainforests. Coastal areas abound in coconut palms that have become a source of livelihood. The islands are dotted with houses built on stilts and done up with wood planks, bamboo mats and furnishing. Many resorts grace the island with similar cool and comfortable accommodation built on stilts. This idyllic world was struck by a tsunami, set off by an earthquake measuring 9.3 on the Richter scale, with its epicenter off the Indonesian coast on 26 December 2004. Many people died and thousands were rendered homeless. In many islands, entire populations were dislocated, the infrastructure wiped out, and sands deposited everywhere, making rebuilding tough. Government of India responded with one of the largest rehabilitation programs with a package of over 3,000 crore rupees, of which 1,605 crore rupees was to be spent for construction of permanent houses and service facilities for tsunami-affected people.
The construction of 9,797 permanent shelters was the most important component of the tsunami rehabilitation package, and this job was assigned to CPWD, Andaman PWD and some NGOs. But the bulk of the responsibility was borne by CPWD, and out of about 10,000 such houses, nearly 8,000 houses were assigned to CPWD.
The project was kick-started in January 2005 itself, with a team of officials from CPWD, along with experts from Town and Country Planning Organization, IIT Roorkee, Structural Engineering and Research Center, Chennai, and Seismic Advisor to Ministry of Home Affairs visiting Andaman and Nicobar Islands to assess the requirements and scale of the rehabilitation. A team of engineers, town planners and architects joined with officials of Andaman and Nicobar administration to study the local architecture and the lifestyle and customs of the people to come up with designs of houses that can provide safety, security and a better standard of life than that of pre-tsunami days, while being suitable for the local lifestyle. The visit was also utilized to look at construction sites that were both safe as well as being near places of livelihood. Care was taken to plan only functional units that suited local lifestyle, eco-friendly construction that needed low maintenance and proved to be cost-effective at the same time. Considering the remote areas where houses were planned to be constructed, to overcome labor scarcity, ease and speed of construction was to be ensured with lightweight and ready-to-assemble sections that required less labor. Earthquake resistance was another point of lightweight and safe structure. Local social needs and preferences were to be taken into account in the housing construction. Houses were to be built on stilts to suit tribal preference in some of the islands to ensure that water did not enter the houses at high tide, and the houses could use the floor to ventilate and keep cool. After such consultations with local people, Panchayat Raj institutions, Tribal Council and Andaman and Nicobar administration, 2 model houses were constructed for demonstration at Little Andaman, 3 model houses were constructed at Kamorta, and 1 model house on stilts each was constructed at Car Nicobar and Great Nicobar. Once the local people made their choice of the type of houses, they were actively involved in selection of sites for their houses. The sites had to be either 10 meters above mean sea level or 3 meters above high tide mark, whichever was higher. Sites had to be along existing road network and proximate to drinking water source. Minimal felling of coconut trees was an important livelihood consideration. It was also decided that the main frame for houses will be of structural steel with epoxy coating, since it was comparatively lightweight, had requisite strength and high seismic resistance. Structural sections could be got ready under controlled conditions of a factory with rigorous quality control measures. This will also reduce the manpower requirement at the housing locations, as easy to assemble sections reduced both assembly time and cost. This will reduce the cost of logistics as well. The walls will be made of screwed down wooden planks. Wooden planks will also be used for floors of houses on stilts. Doors and windows were to be ready-made out of bamboo jute composite. Bamboo mat boards were to be used as false ceiling and inner lining of walls. Ceramic fittings for toilets and electrical fittings to be used were to conform to Bureau of Standards specifications. Once all the parameters were decided, work was speedily undertaken to clear and level the sites, build access roads and paths, and lay the necessary foundations for both plinth-type houses and houses on stilts.
We decided that we will involve the local contractors as far as possible, and one method of doing that was to take out the project into small pieces. For example, foundations separately, manufacturing and fabrication of steel structures separately, and erection separately, and ensure that wherever possible, these small pieces of foundations could be given to local contractors available. And that is what we did initially when the project was sanctioned in January 06. Within 2 months, by the end of March 06, we were able to award the works for foundation in a substantial number of houses where sites were available. More than about 1,000 houses we were able to award foundations, and that was one reason why the project took off very quickly, and it sent a very strong message and strong signal to not only the Andaman administration, but also to the prospective residents, prospective tenants of those houses, that CPWD was already in the project and there was a good possibility of their getting their houses in short time.
Templates were made to mass-produce sections, and samples were made of every section, which were then assembled to ensure perfect fit-in. When any discrepancy or incompatibility was noticed in any section, the templates were revisited to make suitable changes. Only after this, mass production of sections were done. Fabrication yards at Vizag and other places were organized to get the steel sections for the house frames sized and ready for assembling. The sections were cleaned by sandblasting and then given 2 coats of epoxy to make them corrosion resistant. Simultaneously, procurement of bamboo mattings from northeast, doors and windows made of bamboo jute composites from Kolkata, and seasoned and chemically treated planks of wood from Chhattisgarh proceeded apace. Stevedoring operations at Andamans, from ship to pontoons, pontoons to dongeys, and dongeys to shoulders of men who carried materials to shores, had to be planned optimally, and the plans had to be island-specific. There were freak accidents when pontoons had sunk with materials due to rough seas, and valuable time was lost in getting the material replaced. Waters around some of the islands were so treacherous that unloading was a tough task during most of the year. There was this case of Chaura Island, where if the materials were not unloaded during non-turbulent days of March-April season, then materials will have to wait till next March-April season. Locally, no labour is available. Workers were recruited from mainland, transported to Port Blair, and a tribal pass is obtained for each person before he can be transported to the specific island where the unloading and transportation of construction materials is going on. This process of recruitment, transportation, obtaining tribal passes, transportation to specific island, etc. takes at least 2 to 3 months. Since the islands are infection prone and have inadequate medical facilities to deal with major emergencies, workers may leave without working for even a single month. Worker attrition was high and unpredictable. Thus, the island-specific, community-specific housing was executed frame by frame against heavy odds in remote islands where every working day had to be won grudgingly to provide environmentally suitable housing for the tsunami-affected people of Andaman and Nicobar.
I have been associated with Tsunami Rehabilitation Program, one of the most difficult projects undertaken by CPWD. This was the project in which everything was to depend upon the mainland, the deployment of materials, the resources, man, machinery, and even the contractors. When I joined as Additional Director General, Southern Region at Chennai, I had a great task of putting life into this project. We made detailed programs of action, considering various constraints, and also simplified various procedures which were otherwise coming in the way of a speedy implementation of the program. A new way of doing the things were inculcated, and I am very happy to see as Director General, when I had to again monitor this project, things were coming up very well, and now we have been able to do the complete work in various islands in a very short time of less than 2.5 years.
As materials arrived, the selected sites were already cleared and foundation with grouting bolts were ready. Then, as steel structures were unloaded, the metal framework was assembled. The wooden walls were screwed in next. The wooden floors, doors and windows made of bamboo and jute composite came after that. Bamboo mat boards came in to finish the false ceilings and inner wall lining. The last was the coat of painting and the joy of finishing a job well done against odds.
The CPWD has always been capable of taking big challenges, and whenever the challenges are given to us, we have always risen to the occasion, be it be border works, be it be places like Arunachal Pradesh or the present project like Andaman. I am sure detailing of this project is likely to inspire the posterity and young engineers to take up many more challenges in the future. It will also be a point of great satisfaction for my departmental people to see that CPWD has done it. Any remark on this occasion would be incomplete if I don't congratulate my fellow colleagues, my additional DG, my project manager, my executive engineer and other associate engineers who have spared no stone unturned to see that the project has become a great success. It's virtually their hard work, supported by the response given by the construction agencies who responded so well to the call of CPWD engineers and saw to it that we came out successfully from this difficult situation and a challenge.
Then came up the community halls, recreation halls, shopping complex, schools, birth houses, death houses, health centers, etc. to restore and infuse life into the community.
Accomplishments of CPWD are indeed astonishing and commendable. On this occasion, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks and appreciation for the work that has been done by the CPWD engineers, particularly the project managers who have been posted in Port Blair and have worked day and night to achieve these tasks, and also the supervisory officers in Chennai and New Delhi who have come frequently, monitored the work closely, and ensured that all the bottlenecks were resolved and all the problems were overcome.
Central Public Works Department, CPWD, is a massive construction organization that has to its credit many majestic government structures like Rashtrapati Bhavan and Parliament, and landmark buildings like India Gate. Originally founded by Lord Dalhousie in 1854, its present structure took shape in 1930.
It's one of the challenging assignments which the CPWD has executed. It goes to the credit of the team of the CPWD that this was taken up as a challenge, and right from the beginning the details were worked out. There were all sorts of problems which came up during implementation, getting the sites cleared, getting clearances for the sites, transporting the material especially to the islands which have difficult access where jetties did not exist, finding the number of personnel to go from mainland, transporting the structure including superstructure and such other material. All that was complicated, and added to this was the problem of limited working season. And I'm glad that now the work is complete and these houses are available. They are earthquake proof, they are better built and better facilitated. All the essential facilities also have been added. Community facilities have been provided. It goes to the credit of the department that they withstood all these shortcomings or these issues and problems and worked with the local people to complete this task.
CPWD, in a signal service to a brave community that weathered the devastations of tsunami, put up hitherto non-existent infrastructures like water supply, distribution system, paths connecting houses to main road, sewer lines, street lights, stormwater drains, culverts, rainwater harvesting systems and retaining walls. CPWD had to execute a body of works that could not wait. It had to execute it with forethought so that it can have a lasting and positive effect on the lives of tsunami-affected people.
CPWD did a commendable job in carrying out this reconstruction activity. It was one of the largest reconstruction activity ever undertaken in such an inhospitable and challenging terrain. It was actually a collective effort of the entire administration, of the CPWD, the APWD and all other construction agencies which went across and did this work along with, of course, the people of these islands who really put in their heart and soul and made sure that we were able to overcome this great challenge with great determination and grit, and we were able to complete all our construction in a time-bound manner, in a very efficient and effective manner.
Today, life on the islands have not only attained their normal peaceful tenor, but also scaled up the ladder in terms of better standards of living. It must be placed on record that but for the unstinted encouragement and support of everyone from Prime Minister's office, various ministries, down to Lieutenant Governor's office and Andaman and Nicobar administration, this could have turned out to be mission impossible. Officials and staff of CPWD, who now have the satisfaction of a worthy project well executed, are grateful for the trust placed in them. And to hear words of appreciation from a steady stream of VIPs who visit the project sites is like a balm that encourages them to look forward to scaling bigger obstacles and even greater heights of achievement in future.
Central Public Works Department, which is under the administrative control of my ministry, has done pioneering work in Andaman Nicobar Islands. I call this work pioneering because these houses had to be built under special difficulties, our engineers and labor had to wade through seawater to reach many islands. When the tsunami disaster befell these places, many NGOs and other institutions, well-meaning as they were, wanted to build. They all had to give up. Ultimately, the CPWD alone had to stay behind, along with another wing of CPWD, namely the PWD of Andaman Nicobar Islands. And it has brought glory to the CPWD. I am sure CPWD will do a lot more in future to keep up its record.